All right, our guest speaker today, we love her. She's an author. She's a regional vice president. She's also a mom, a grandma. As we know, her husband just passed away about a year or so ago, and we're very sensitive to what she does, and she's very spirit led. Let's say that. I'm gonna say that and leave it at. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Very spirit led, and I can't wait to hear what she got to say today. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and I mean, I'm excited about today. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, can we give a well round of applause to none other than the regional vice president, Miss Jocelyn Driskill?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, to have his life. How many of you would love to be doing all the traveling and fit the work in between and support the teams that you have built and all the leadership like Mr. Thomas has? What an incredible life he has, and he deserves it. How many of you know that? All the hard work does pay off, and we're just grateful that he does this every single day of the week for every single one of us. All we have to do is show up, right? But good morning to all of you. I am so glad all of you showed up today for what it is that you need to hear from my heart and my spirit today. There couldn't be any more blessings than we receive each day by waking up, putting our feet on the ground. And I know when we put our feet on the ground, the devil says, oh no, here he or she is coming for the day, right? You guys ready for the day? Awesome. Well, I'm ready and excited to share what has been planned, and I hope that your hearts are open and you receive it. And I'll always come here with what I feel God has given me. And how many of you love that song in the beginning? I saw Jackie Black dancing. As soon as that song plays, I'm like, yeah, I want to dance. I know Jabri said the same thing to me via text, and Jackie Black, she was just bouncing up and down. Who's a wannabe? Want to be more like, right? Wannabe. I love it. So that's one of my favorite songs. It's a brand new song, and so now it's in my playlist. Hopefully it's in your playlist. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to dive in and we're going to talk about walk it out, walk it out. There's a song, right? Walk it out. Well, this is about God showing up in the doorway of your no. Now, we talk about people who say no to us, right? But how many times have we said no to him? And he's standing in the doorway of our no, and he's knocking. So I want to take this reverse role here. And I want to share just a quick clip. It's probably 2 to 3 minutes. It's not long, of Pastor Stephen Furtick, who I tend to lean towards. He has so much to give right now. And his wife interviewing him. I did share a piece of this message, last month, I think it was, Knocking Through Your No, which is Pastor Furtick's message. And I turning it around and looking at it a little differently. His wife, Pastor Holly Furtick, is interviewing him. And there's just a few things that they say. Now, I would suggest going back and watching the full thing, because there's so much content and so much to really maybe soak up for yourself that you can take in and really understand the power of walking it out. Now, when I say that, I'm always looking at my faith, how I walk it out in faith without seeing what's ahead. And in my journey today, as many of you know, it's taken a lot of faith to walk so much out when you lose someone like the love of your life. And so not only that, building businesses and staying in the game and knowing that God has a purpose and a plan for me, no matter what that looks like. We might see something different, but God has a bigger and a plan that's supposed to unfold, and we just don't know what that is. But we got to walk it out. So let's dive into his quick message here.
Here's my point, though. It's not about a certain thing that maybe we would categorize as my dream. It's about a certain place that God wanted to locate inside of her. And he wanted to locate that inside of her, I think, having more to do with her faith. It wasn't about necessarily the thing. He was trying to express himself to her in a way that would be so tangible, so he gave her a son. And I think it's good for us to keep certain dreams alive and let certain other dreams reincarnate, as we say.
Yeah.
But I think the thing we can never give up on...
I really like that.
What, you're a Buddhist now? Reincarnation?
Maybe so. I like the idea of like how you can have a dream that looks like something different later on.
Well, I definitely believe in creative reincarnation. I've seen it too many times. Like, I've worked on something creatively, and it seemed like it failed. And then it came into a song later. It came into a book later. It came into a sermon later.
I've definitely seen that in your life. It came into a staff teaching later. I apply the same thing to my life. And that's my nothing is wasted mentality, that in my healthiest days, I believe that God is using everything. Right.
But it is a letting go. And that's the beauty of this text to me. She said, no, I don't believe what you're saying. And then she became pregnant. Mm-hmm. It gets us out of this mindset that says that God is always limited to what we do and what we can conceive and what we can think of. And it helps us realize that God's promise is persistent, that he knocks through the no. He knocks through our no.
Right.
Even when we've stopped knocking.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible says, ask and it'll be given to you, seek and you'll find, knocking the door will be open to you. For everyone who seeks finds, everyone who asks is given, everyone who knocks, the door will be open. Sometimes, and then there's this moment where we see a woman and she's not knocking on the door asking God for a baby anymore. Right. And then God knocks.
Yeah.
And I love that picture of God for my life, that he's still trying to find ways to use me. He's still trying to find ways to accomplish his purpose through my life. Not so much about what I can get from him, but that he still has something for me to do, that he still has relevance down the road ahead of me, that he still has significance for the words that I'll speak, for the ways that I can love my family, for the ways that I can use the gift that I have to glorify him.
Yeah.
That he's not done with me. And that would be the simplicity of this message, is that God is so committed to his purpose that he will knock through every no. And picture this wrecking ball of God's grace, this wrecking ball of God's purpose, just knocking down the walls you've put up and just coming through anyway and going, no, I'm not going to accept your resentment. I'm not going to accept your bitterness. I'm doing a new thing in your life. And if people can take that away from this message and this woman from Shunem, I think it'd be life-changing.
It is life-changing. And thank you for how much, I don't know where all that came from, but thank you for sharing it with us.
Thanks for talking about it with me.
So, knocking through the no. How many of you, now let me preface this. When he was talking about she, and I just so you all know, it came from 2 Kings, I think it was 4:8. Yes, 2 Kings 4:8. About the Shunammite woman who had built a room. So she had built this room for prophet Elisha. Right? So he was out doing his ministry and all of that stuff. And she had built this room. And now, just to preface how significant her getting pregnant is, even though, you know, obviously he talked about that being a miracle. Her husband's very old, so she's older, right? And she had given up on having a child. But she did her part, which is building a room. Right? Building the room for someone to go out and serve their purpose and so forth. So sometimes we're a part of, just like me being here, being a part of the bigger mission of what Mr. Thomas has in store and his purpose in life. Sometimes we come alongside people and we're about helping them continue their purpose as he's come alongside of each and every one of us. He has built this room for all of us to illuminate our life, right? The purpose and the plans that are in store for us. So she built this room for Elisha, and Elisha told her, so how many of you have a dream? How many of you have more dreams than it seems impossible to ever happen, right? Me too. So when you think about her and where she was in her life at that time, and it's not like she really gave up, but she said, I'm too old, right? Too old to birth a baby and all of that. But Elisha told her, so where do you want to be? Write this down. Where do you want to be a year from now? What does that vision and that dream look like a year from now? Because, you know, we all start off our year looking at, okay, what do I want to do this year so that next year is different? True? So this is the thing. Elisha told her, a year from today, you're going to have a child. She wasn't even pregnant yet. And she couldn't believe that was going to be her lot in life, that it was coming, that dream that she had let go. So you heard Pastor Furtick say something about creative reincarnation. Things that you thought would happen and haven't happened yet. Or there's a dream that you've had, but now it looks a little bit different, because it's not just because we have a vision and a dream and we see something doesn't mean it's going to look exactly like what you see, but a form of it, a version of it, the better version, if you're being led by God to those dreams and through those dreams, they're going to be better. They're going to be bigger. They're going to maybe not look as you thought they would. And when that happens, he talks about the obedience and the disappointment. You still have to be obedient, because could I not be disappointed right now where my life is? Losing my husband a year ago, I didn't know a year today would look like this. I did not know that. But what I did know is God has me, and he has a bigger purpose. And for whatever reason, because I don't ask why, how many of you know that it's not about saying, why God, why me? It's about saying, why not me? Because when you say, why not me, you're going to get a different result. That's what I have found. And I know that when I can't see, I'm just walking it out. So play that song in your head. Walk it out, 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 walk it out. Okay? Just walk it out no matter what you see. And discipline your disappointments, which means be obedient to the disappointment. And know that if you keep walking and keep praying and keep living in your purpose, like he said, take that wrecking ball to the walls you've built up. So let's talk about a few things here that he said. So that was the story about the Shunammite woman. So a year later, she had that baby. That would be crazy, right? If you knew how old she was and her husband was old, and not ever believing that was going to happen, but because she built the room for the prophet Elisha. What are you building here? What are you building right here in this business? You're building rooms for people to come and live in their purpose and change their lives and come alongside them and be someone that helps lead with them into their purpose, right? And the vision that was given to them, because we have such a gift here in this business. But so think about her story a little bit. So let's talk about some of the things that he was saying. What we don't see or can believe, it's the power of God, his miracles. When his purpose is in you, it must be fulfilled. So you ready to fulfill that purpose that he's given you? Yes? Yes or yes? Yes or yes? Yes. Okay. So again, we talk about, we all face the disappointment, but it's about the obedience to the disappointment, the discipline of your disappointments. God is not done with you. Can you say that? He's not done with me yet. If you're still here, he's not done. So what is that going to look like for you? Allowing certain dreams to reincarnate. We talked about that, how the dream can look like something, but it becomes something different. But it really was the same dream. It just looks different than you actually saw it. So now you got to drive through that. So that creative reincarnation, nothing is wasted. God uses everything, and we have to let go of all the things that we think it's supposed to be, or who it's supposed to be, or who's coming alongside of you. Like here in ACN, we just talk to people And maybe, how many of you have heard some will, some won't, some wait, so what, who's next, right? And the thing is we think, so the other thing that we think about, look at and know that's reality is the people we think will won't, and the people we think won't will, right? So when you look at going out there in this world and being in purpose and talking to the people that you talk to, don't be stuck on who you think will. Just talk to people, because your purpose is so much bigger, and he's going to open the doors when you're walking in that purpose. The doors are always going to open for you. You just got to get to the door, knock on it, and it will open. And don't have these huge expectations. See, it's not, being expectant is great, but you can be disappointed when you expect something that's so much bigger and not realizing that even if it's a no from there, it's not a not, it's just not a not now, right? It's a not now, come back. Don't get disappointed because your expectation is too high. Go in with expectations of who you are, because of whose you are and your purpose and what you have your hands on. And don't worry about the yeses or the nos. Just keep working and being consistent. Now, I could have totally let my business go in a situation that I'm in today, and I've seen people do it, but not me. I just stayed consistent to the dream. It might have taken a little longer because I had a lot of more things to handle and do and spend time with my family and things like that. But thank goodness for this business that afforded me and allowed me to do those things with time, right? So that's the goal, is never stop, keep going, keep pursuing, the creative reincarnation. Just don't have such a structured, not vision, but just feeling like you're so structured that it has to look a certain way. And if it's not that way, it's not right. That's not true. It's not true. So don't leave your dream, quit, do all those things that people do because it doesn't look exactly like you thought. Just build the rooms, keep building the rooms. So it's never about what we conceive or see. God's promises are persistent. That's why he comes to the door. Let me show you a picture, because this is the picture that I got. That's who's knocking at your door. And he's standing in the doorway of your no, because it's scary. Like sometimes things can get scary, right? And it seems too big, maybe. Does it seem too big? Like, how could I ever be a senior VP like Mr. Al Thomas? I don't have the talk, right? The talk just starts, the brain starts going, and all this self-doubt and talk goes on, blah, 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 blah. I write this in my book, that blah, blah, blah is how I hear the enemy's voice now today. I don't hear anything he says. It's just blah, 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 and I swipe it away. So that's what I'm calling you to do, which is get the voices out of your head and stop saying no to what he's already prepared the way for. You guys know the way's already prepared. You just don't see it. You just got to walk it out, keep walking forward into what you know is the simple system to what we do. Okay, let's go back to, let's see, he's absolutely knocks through our no, and we question it a lot of times. He will take the handle, and maybe you locked it and he can't open the door because your no is so strong to him right now. You're like standing firm in the no, like the people that you talk to who stand firm in their no. But your no to him is so strong that you've locked the door. So guess what he's going to do? He's going to take the hinges off. And he's going to take the door off the hinges and pull it away and stand in the room that you're in. And he's going to have a conversation with you if you see him walk through that door, tear it down. He's that strong. He's that powerful. And when your no isn't meeting your purpose, that door's coming down and he's going to be right there in front of you. And then what are you going to do? And he's going to show you what your purpose of moving forward and walking it out, and he's got you. You know he's got your back. If he has it for you, he's got your back. So you just got to let go of all the noise and the stuff that happens in this world. You got to let it go and you got to walk it out. Think about this. How many of you have heard, like he said, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will open, right, to you. So then picture yourself when you have stopped doing that. Now the roles are reversed because you stopped seeking and you stopped knocking. So he's coming back to you and knocking on your no. So if you say no, why do you think you're getting no's? This is how I see it sometimes, is how we're being and how we're perceiving. That's what we're receiving. How we're being and what we're perceiving or what we're receiving is because of how they're perceiving how we're coming to them. If we're coming and we're thinking, no, God, this isn't me. No, it's not me. No. And you're saying that so much, how many no's are you going to get because of how you're being? See, it's not who we are. It's not, what is it? It's really, truly being, not doing. You can't do the right things until you're being the right things. And the right people won't show up, whether it's the love of your life or it's the business partner. This could go on for anything in your life. It won't show up right with a yes because you're saying no. It's how you're being and not what you're doing. Your doing will become the right things, and everything that you do when you're being the right person he needs you to be. Make sense? The right people show up, the right people say yes, and it just starts to unfold. So remember, your no, God's going to knock on that door of your no, and it's going to illuminate your life when you allow him to work. So I showed you the picture. And so I really wanted to get that across. If you go back to really quickly, if you go back to just thinking about all the adversity that comes in our lives, because it's not what happens to us, it's what we do with it. And how we get and grow through it, right? How we get in it and grow through it. This picture of me, in fact, it was standing in front of a group of people. You can see Luann Pinedo. It was in Fresno. Mr. Thomas is there all the time. But this is the thing. You got to let adversity be the flame in your life in which your strengths are forged. Don't stop now. The thing is we're all going to have adversity, but it's the flame that's going to strengthen you. Remember the story about the men in the fire. He's with us within the flames, and he'll walk it out with us, and we'll come out unscathed because we trusted. So with that, just to finish up here, because I think many of you have gotten the point. The no, he's gonna knock at the door of your no. You just got to build the room, right? So just say yes and build it. The birthing will come, as happened to her. A year later, she birthed child, not believing that she was even going to get pregnant, and it was not the natural way, right? So the miracles of building the rooms, like Mr. Thomas has here, and the travel when he goes to all these different places, he's birthing rooms. And he's building the rooms, and the birth of all of those rooms are going to come alive. It's just in the time that we have to let go. We've talked about time before. You got to let go of pride. When people say no to you, your pride can't get hit. Mr. Thomas doesn't care. If someone says no, it's next, right? Because he knows that's not the right person, or it's just a not now, we'll come back later. So don't let pride and time get in your way at all. Build the rooms, build it and they will come. Isn't that the Field of Dreams story? Build it and they will come. So keep walking it out, building those rooms. And I'm going to go back to this one last thing, because you got to take the wrecking ball to your walls. That wrecking ball of God's grace and purpose, because he is committed to your purpose. You just need to be committed to your purpose. And you can see that was Pastor Holly Furtick's statement. You don't have to have a faith for a baby. You just got to build a room. You don't have to have faith for senior vice president. You just got to build the rooms and know that taking that wrecking ball to all the walls that you build up. I tell people, stop building walls. Stop putting, you can have boundaries with people and places and things. You have boundaries, but building these walls that you put yourself behind, you got to get that wrecking ball out, because God's purpose and grace is so much bigger and he is committed to it. Now you just got to be committed to it. I'm committed to it. I'll be alongside of you, helping you build rooms. I know Mr. Thomas, that's his mission. So with that being said, you guys, go build the rooms, take the wrecking ball and walk it out. Knock down those walls with that wrecking ball and walk it out, walk it out, walk it out, walk it out. You don't have to see it. You just got to know he's got you, and the purpose is the mission that you're on. Keep going. You'll get there. You will get there. I'm with you. With that being said, Mr. Thomas, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you so much for the opportunity always to be here, giving me the platform for, I say, God's glory. And I'm just grateful that you are open to all of that. And it's my blessing and honor to be alongside you, Mr. Thomas.